I'm in the middle of 68 series. Yeah, you heard that right. So this is a video which is going to keep me accountable for finishing series, because I'm really, really bad at starting them and never continuing. Now, to be fair, 22 of the 68, I'm up to date. So I just need to be either up to date or finish some series by the end of this year. My goal is to finish at least 8 to 10 series this year, or be up to date. So we will see how that's going to happen, because there are some chonkers on this list. Talking of chonkers, I have started the Dragonbone chair and I'm enjoying it. I know there should be a third book here because Green Angel Tower has 2 parts, but it's over there and I'm too lazy to go pick it up. So we are here, but I am planning to see if I can get through all 4 of these books. These are big books and I can't do them on audio because I tried doing the Dragonbone chair on audio and I realised something was missing and I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. So that was a no. But I am tandem reading it, so I don't know if I'm going to tandem read all of them. By tandem read, I mean I audio and eyeball at the same time. But because sometimes that helps when I'm feeling very like my brain isn't braining and I'm tired, I do that. So anyway, these are on my list. Will I get to them? I don't know. I'm enjoying the Dragonbone chair immensely, but these are really big books. I may have overestimated my time. The Tainted Cup was just amazing, incredible. I loved it. The sequel's coming out. So I want to get up to date with Tainted Cup. Because currently, well, would you argue that I'm up to date with this already? Maybe until the sequel drops. So, but I'm going to audiobook this on the day it drops. Because let me tell you, like, I had so much fun reading Tainted Cup. It is neurodivergent upon neurodivergent. And I love the world. The world is so fascinating. Like, imagine this. You're at work. Your ear buttholes are working. And you are suddenly blown away by this scenery from somebody who cannot visualise as they read, of this guy covered in fungal shit. And you're like, what is happening? Why is he dead? Why is he covered in fungus? That's the beginning of the Tainted Cup. It's amazing. Will I reread it before book 2 drops? Possibly, because I love the audio narration of this and I loved it so much that my mum ended up helping me. Well, I tried to, she just paid for it. Got with the Inkstone edition of this because it was lovely and I love it, and it was a gift from her and she was like, yes. So I'm hoping I can hopefully track down book 2 when it drops, because it's so much fun. I mean, look at that cover. Look at it. It's everything about, I just love it. It's so neurodivergent. There's Anna, who is like the Sherlock Holmes character, and a main character is a Watson character. But like, it's done so much better. Like, it's gender bent. It feels queer normative. I get that vibe, right? I can't remember if it technically is queer normative, but I just get that vibe. So the Tainted Cup book 2 is going on here. It's amazing. It's incredible. Another amazing book is going to be The Jasmine Throne. This is book 3. This is all I have to read, then I'm up to date. My issue is I kind of want to reread book 1 and 2 and then go into book 3 and just binge it. But I've lent book 1 to my boss. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll just try and go in and read and think I can kind of keep up. But these have some of the best female characters ever. If you like women's wrongs, if you like gay, lesbians, plus a creepy forest and the creepy mathematic system, and this is very like Indian inspired as well, which I just love this kind of books. I love something that is just it's not part of my culture, because yeah, it's a fantasy, but it also feels like I'm learning about something that's in real world, and it's like nothing I've come across before, because I haven't been anywhere else but the UK. Technically, like, I've been to like Spain, but I haven't been very far, right? So I just love it. I love that perspective on worlds and how that's going to happen. So the Jasmine Throne, I'm going to try and get through this, because I'm in the middle of 68 series. This is a problem. And watch me forget a couple that I've started this year. I probably have, to be fair. This does not come as a shock to you. I am up to date. But book 2, hopefully, is dropping the strengths of a few. Because The Will of the Many took me by storm. And if you've seen me anywhere, you mention The Will of the Many, I'm there, right? You whisper it, I appear. You think it, I'm there. Read The Will of the Many. I understand it can be a project of its own hype, okay? People can be like, it's too much hype, too much for this. I get that. For me, this is just perfect. This is a book for me. It feels like Islington wrote this book for me. And I read it the year it came out. And I'm sitting there at the end of this book, like, what do I do now? I'm pretty sure I reread at least half of it. As soon as I finished it, I was like, I remember where I was when I finished this book. This is a tangent. This is not a book. This is not a video about the One of the Many, but it might be. It might be. I was having a really, really long work week. I was doing like 12-hour shifts for like 7 days. It was mental. And I remember I was at my client's yard and I was just finishing the horses off. And it was quite hot. It was in the summer. And I was like, went to go get in the car, and I was like, oh, I'll just finish, like, I've got like a minute left, I'll just continue listening. And I remember sitting there like, I can't drive away as I'm listening to this book, and I'm like, and I looked around, and I know my client's mum was in the house at the time, but I wasn't anywhere that she was visible. But if she came and saw me, I'd have word vomited at her like, oh, I got this book, and she'd have gone, okay. She does read, but she doesn't read books I read, and I'm like, and then I went online and I screamed about it, and I haven't stopped screaming since. So the strength for the few is, it's on the list. Am I slightly cheating with these lists because I have a lot of things where I will be up to date when the book drops this year? Maybe. My video, my rules. This has dragons in it, and Antony Ryan I like. Okay, I read Bloodsong years ago, for some reason never continued, and that seems to be quite the vibe with that series. I'm enjoying this immensely. Like, imagine a dragon that conforms to the magic system at the same time. Like, it's part of the magic system, it's part of the world, it's part of how people do things, and there's so much going on. The women are well written in this. And this is the last book I have to read. That I just do. I don't really want to say too much about the series because book 1 and book 2 have blended in. I don't want to say something that's in book 2. But I'm also like, do I have to reread the first 2 books so I can read the 3rd book? I don't know. This is a faulting of mine. I need to learn to finish series so I'm not stuck in this situation. But I definitely have 1 book left, then the series is done, and I'm enjoying it. It's a great load of fun. It has dragons in it. This doesn't have dragons, but what it does have is lesbians. This is like Egyptian suffragette, but gay, and I love it. There's 2 main characters, and they're both polar opposites, and they do come together. This is not a romance, by the way. I realise that some people might consider that as right. It's not. It has romance in it. It's just not a romance book. It's very much about women rising up against the regime and taking back their power and being forced to. Because in this, it's very much as you would probably still get nowadays, like in places like Israel or something like that. I don't know. Places in the world, they still do stuff like this. Arranged marriages, all of this. There is a scene in this book where a woman one of the main characters is forced to go through I remember reading the scene and I was just like, I can't. That was sickening and it's horrid. And the fact that it happened at all in history is just diabolical. But she's forced to go through this test to make sure she's still fucking pure. Like, they don't trust her word so she can marry this fucking wanker. And oh my god, I'm reading that scene and all the emotions, all the feminine rage. Oh my god. But the 2 main characters are polar opposites. There's one who's very outspoken, who has come from a rich background and is marrying this guy, and she agrees to marry him if they let her go to this school, which previously they didn't let any women go to this school. It's their school of magic, right? And so that's one. Then the other one is from a poor background, and she's working from this in this shop, and this is the only job she has, but she also tried to do stuff on like the suffragette side of things as well without being discovered. There's also her family trying to push her to marry somebody else. There's her father who's not understanding, and again the other women in her family are sort of like, this how it is, and she's like, I don't want this, but she's very meek. But well, meek might be the wrong word. She's just not as outspoken as the other main character. She's not one who's got that fire, but it is in her. And she's more of a quieter kind of character. More of somebody who is just like, I will be silent, but that doesn't mean I'm weak. And all I have is a duology. This is the last one I have to read. I adored book 1. I'm so tempted to reread book 1 so I can get to book 2 because I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And everybody should read this book, even if you don't like it. This is very much a book about women and what has happened to them. And it should just be recommended reading no matter where you go. Talking of duologies, I have the audio arc for Titanchild. I loved Tanner Sister. Like, I didn't love it as much as I loved Jen Williams' Wind, Wing and Flame series, but I really had a good time. I had a good time. It's about griffins, it's about war, it's about government lying to people, right? And creepy forests, all of this, so much different cultures going on, and it's just interesting. It was such a ball of absolute fun. So this is definitely going to be on the list. And because I have an audio arc I need to listen to that before February because that's where it expires. And unlike with ebooks, I can't download it to another audio place. Unless you know if I can, then let me know. I have this book and I'm caught up. I also have the arc for this. And I adore this series. Like, Adrian Tchaikovsky, I do like his writing. Some of his science fiction, I'm a bit like, that's a bit much for me. I do want to read Children of Time as an arachnophobic. That might be entertaining. I do, but I have an arc for this and I ended up getting it, and I read The Housewife Moon, which is book 2, late last year when I was in a pretty shitty time and a lot of stuff was happening in my life that was just overwhelming and all sorts of going on, and I read it and it was a ball of comfort and I rated it 5 stars. It's one of my favourite books, so I can't wait to get to this, and hopefully soon. I cannot do this on audio just because of the way they're told. I need to physically look at them because I do, again, like most people, you do audio as you're doing other stuff, so your attention isn't fully on it. So this is a book I feel like I need to give my full attention to, but it's not exactly hard to follow, if that makes any sense. This is all I have to read of this one. I love The Final Strife. The Battle Drum blew me away, but I tried this on audio via my library. Support local libraries, guys. And let me tell you that it felt like it was going more in a romantasy direction, and I just that wasn't this series. This wasn't what I read, so I've been putting off reading it since. And I remember there was I can't remember who the creator was, but I watched her video on it and she sort of said exactly the same thing, right? I was like, oh, that's what baby put it down in a sense, a soft DNF, if you will. And I really want to like it. Like, I love Saara Al-arifi's writing, but I don't know if this is kinda what I'm looking for in this series, because I thought it was more epic and not romance. It doesn't mean it can't have a romance, but I was kind of looking for something that wasn't that hammering over the head. This is gonna be a romance. They're gonna be together. Everybody has a romance in this book. Which is my issue with Six of Crows as well. But that's another video. So, I'm not going to do this on audio. I wasn't a massive fan of the audio anyway. So I need to physically read this one. It's probably going to have to be honest, now's probably the right time while I'm in my romance era to read this. But will I? Probably not. Again, I'm cheating. It's my video, my rules. The Damned King comes out later this year. So I kind of want to be up to date with this one. So I am up to date. I am up to date. But I'm definitely wanting to read The Damned King this year so I can stay up to date. if you have not read this series, what are you doing? This series is full of layers upon layers upon layers. Like, there's a memory drive who's taken everybody's memories, but then some people have their memories back and they realise, holy shit, you're not meant to be king, this person's king. And they go try and take it back. That's surface level. Surface level what's going on, right? Even just the concept of a memory drive taking everybody's memories, and then you're like, what is true? What the memories I've gotten back, are they real? Is what we had when we were under the spell, was that real? Was that where things were going? All of these complicated things. And do I actually love this person who I was with when I was under that memory drive? Or is this something that was just put there? And it's so prejudice against magic users is on top of everything, and people in power making decisions with these magic users, and I understand why they're making decisions, but it's also implicating everybody else, and it's like, that technically really shouldn't have been your decision to make, but I understand you're a queen, and it's like, it's mental. Absolutely mental. You need to go read the series. Right, back on track with my boss lent me these books. I've read book 1. This is a quartet. I found it fine. Okay, it was entertaining. But she's like, do you want to read the other ones? I was like, oh, she recommended it to me because she knows I recommend books to her all the time, and I lend her books all the time, and now she's lending me books, and I have not read them. She, terribly fair, I've lent her 2 books, and she still hasn't read those yet. But in her defence, she's at uni. So, I don't know why I've not read these yet. I need to, and then I'll be up to date on this series. Either that, or I just put this series down. And to be like, they were fine. Okay, my main issue with the book 1 of this series was I did an audio. And that probably wasn't the best idea. So, I have these. I need to. I need to. Somebody kick me out the butt and take all my other books away and just leave me these, and I will read them. Shauna Lawless can do no wrong. Shauna Lawless is one of my favourite authors. And why the hell have I not read this yet? I'll tell you why. I don't want this to end. If you've read this series, you know there's 2 female, there's Gormla and Folder. Probably saying that wrong, but anyway. And it's kind of like, who do you want to win? And I don't know. I love Folder. I never thought I would, because she's a character that isn't a goody two-shoes, but very nice, or, you know, very caring, all this. And those kind of characters don't tend to gravitate towards, right? But then you have Gormla, who is somebody out for your heart with nails and teeth. She will do anything to have a semblance of power. And I don't know who I want to come out on top. Now, this isn't like pitching women against women. There's more. It's mythology, it's historical fiction, it's Irish, it's Vikings. All of this goes into it. There's all sorts of complicated stuff. There's the mythology of the creatures behind this as well, which is so fascinating and so interesting. But I'm stuck here like, I don't want this to end. I really don't. But once I read this, I'll be caught up on Lawless. So... but I also don't want this to end. Okay, I'm going to go quick fire through, because I've been filming for a bit long, through the ones that are coming out this year, the sequels, which is Tainted, Dragon Rider Took by Storm, right? This, dragons, everything, perfection, loved it, right? I know the beginning can be a little bit rocky, in a sense it took a while to get into, but it wasn't that long for me listening on the audio, about 2 hours on the audio, and then I was like, holy shit, this massive scene happened. I was like, ugh, it's like the red wedding scene. Amazing, loved it. Look at this vision. Tainted, I have a feeling book 2 is really going to rock up. I've read Taran Matheru's other stuff before. Highly, highly liked it. Had so much fun in his novice series. So, I literally saw James Logan at a John Gwynn event, and I begged him for an arc of book 2 of this. And he went, I was like, please, give me an arc. So hopefully I'm going to get an arc of book 2, Blackfire Blade. The Simple Opponents is so much fun. I do want to reread it before that happens. It's just like a fun book. It's entertaining, it's fun. The duo between Flea and Logan. No, Lucan. I always get those confused. Sorry. Those dynamics together was just so well done. Like Arya and the Hound, but nowhere near as problematic as that was. And Flea has my heart. Like, James Logan, you will probably never ever watch this, But if you harm Flea in any way, I will track you down, okay? And I will give you a stern talking to, and you will right your wrongs. This is so underrated. Literally so underrated that I know it's a debut, but this is just absolutely incredible, and I don't know why people haven't read it yet. But anyway, book 2 is coming out this year. Test me of something. Put it there. And I'm going to drop everything and read as soon as that happens. This is probably where I realise that I probably have too many books on my TBR, but here we go. I want to read all of the Danilion Dynasty, or at least 2 of them, right? That is my goal. 2 of these. Ideally, I want a third, but 2 of these, because I read The Grace of Kings last year and it took me by storm. I was possessed. And people said The Grace of Kings is not that good. Like, it gets good in book 2. I was like, okay, cool, go. And I was like, you saying this isn't good and it gets better in book 2? What the hell? Like, this series must be just incredible. So, this is high on my list. When? I have no idea, because I'm also rereading the Cosmere. I'm also going through Malazan books this year. So watch me literally just fail in every sense of the word. But I'm putting it out here. You guys keep me accountable. If you see me on some monthly wrap-ups and stuff, because I'm debating doing those, that I have not read one of these books that I have mentioned in this video, feel free to just put a slapping emoji or something in the comments and be like, read these books, and force me to do it, because I want to, but knowing me, my mood will hit and I'll just be like, nah. So I need to finish some series, because before starting any more, ideally. And yeah, that's where I am. Let me know how many series you are currently reading at this time. And if you want to join me in this challenge on completing some series this year.